Hi everyone, it's Kasia from Tarot Map, and it's a day before winter solstice. I have made a wand, first time after a couple of years. I really felt inspired to use this branch that I found in this very magical forest, and I have this huge piece of Baltic amber that I wanted to use, and I feel like I really wanted to create this sense of torch, when you hold it, it's like a torch, and actually the amber is really pretty cool. She is kind of created for winter solstice as well, for strength to keep onto the inner light, even when things get tough, and to send off my weaver of the year, which is Snow. So let's just put her here. And Snow was with me for the whole 2021. It was a tough teacher. So she is called the weathered woman of the skin mask. And I think this year a lot of us have lost many of the masks. Actually, since 2020, we were definitely, we're going through all these different shifts and changes, and we're still in them. But she took on quite a new perspective when, the war in Ukraine happened for me. And the beginning of the year, since February 2026 or 2024, was just really kind of, she was reminding me that nothing is permanent, that the light is within me. There were blood marks on the snow, and still are. There is this crow feet, but I just looked at them and they look like algae's rune. And that also reminds me that, yes, we praise so much individualism, but not much is really done by an individual itself. It's always in connection to something, in connection to others. And I found here my diary from when I pulled on winter solstice and Snow. So I pulled her in Częstochowa when I went to visit the Black Madonna of Częstochowa. She's right here. So last year I went there with my husband, and on winter solstice I was there, and I pulled her for 2022. So it's a pilgrim, so she's an archetype of a pilgrim, and I started this year with the pilgrimage class that I've done with Melissa Lucia. And also I found myself being in some way maybe forced, not forced, but we kind of ran away from Poland when Putin invaded Ukraine. We stayed in Croatia for a couple of months. It was a very stressful time for me because a lot of old traumas I didn't even know I had been, released from my body. And, I wanted to say that I never forgot about it. I just choose for my own well-being not to be involved too much right now with news, and I can't, because I think what stresses me the most is not even the news. I can handle the news. I'm not expecting, not to be able to handle the news. What really stresses me out, that I don't trust the news. So when I watch something and I listen to it, and my whole nervous system responds with disbelief, or something is just off, that's when I'm really getting stressed. So with Snow, she is a pilgrim. She is one of those old ancient ancestors that walked barefoot, marking her painful progress with the blood spilling from her feet. So in some way it's really also about giving blood to the land. I'm wondering how this myth plays out in our society with the war and humans giving blood to the land, but not in that ceremonial way. And the old woman, she journeyed vast distances. She travels from the past or out of the past until there was no more past for her to walk. The pilgrim, they wore strings of berries as ruby beads of blood on snow, and a blade wise and pure as bone. So here is her blade. She was bound, held always and forever to the trail of that old woman. And I feel this is this connection that we all have to our ancient ancestors. Together and apart through long epochs and eras, they had walked, circling each other, returning over and again to this deep fold in the cloth of time. So she was a big archetype of a pilgrim for me, and as much as like pilgrimage was a huge part of my 2021, and as I said, 2022 started with a pilgrimage, and then there was like this kind of forced pilgrimage, different type of I feel like 2022 from this February for me was a big pilgrimage within myself. So it's interesting to see her, light in the belly. So the pilgrim would encounter her older self once more and witness her own dying on the snow. In some way, I saw myself die this year as well, and some part of me that maybe was so innocent or blissfully ignorant had to die. And now the pilgrim knelt beside the cold body to make her offerings of gratitude and respect. The pilgrim used her blade to peel back a layer of the skin of the old woman's face. She lifted the layer up and put it onto her own face. Now she was wearing a mask of skin, and you can see the mask of skin on her face. The ancient face of the old woman fitted her well. When she peered through the skin mask, the fresh eyes of the emergent year were gazing through those of the decaying season. So she's a wonderful kind of initiator. She's a wonderful Ouroboros. She's a wonderful archetype of ending and beginning. And definitely 2022 was a year like this for many of us. So the pilgrim that becomes that snow, the old woman, through wearing her layer of her skin, it was pilgrim's moment of renewal and resurrection when the old year finally transformed into the new. So how perfect that I picked her last year during the winter solstice, and now I'm releasing her day before winter solstice to pick the new weaver tomorrow. The circle of her journey was now completed, and yet the mystery of midwinter continued to unravel across the snow. She left the pine shadows behind and walked onward, following the shortening nights into the future. I am dancing death, I am dancing life, I am dancing all that returns. And here also there was a couple of things I wrote down from the book. So it's a valuable skill to see with different eyes. And I definitely saw with different eyes this year, not only new positive eyes, but also the eyes of suffering, the eyes of pain, the eyes of disillusion, the eyes of hatred, the eyes of fear, the eyes of panic, the eyes of trauma. So it's a valuable skill to see with different eyes, a new perspective beyond the obvious. behind the question from all sides of everything. Sometimes when a traveling woman pilgrim realizes her outlook is not enough, she might borrow or craft a skin mask. I think would be a perfect ritual to do this if you feel like you need a new perspective. I always say either climb a mountain, which I did, or create maybe a skin mask for yourself so that you get a new perspective. And this mask can be a source of revelation, a symbol of your new eyes, through which you may see the secrets of the land or ancestral trails of the power inside yourself. Skin masks are rooted in primeval traditions, a fuel of dark mythologies. The blood on snow, crimson chain that connects generations of traveling women. There is Holly as a plant, and I actually never connected with Holly, and I haven't actually connected with her during this year either, but she was the ally of the traveling woman, a constant witness to a changing year. There also was ivy and ivy spells. With ivy I have connected. Ivy was one of my favorite winter plants. The profound silence of winter offers a few distractions and frees us to stretch into our thoughts. Ivy spell opens the door to hibernation, moments of rest, retreat and silence. I have done a lot of this year. And this Weaver was also about dreams and dream work, and I finished last year with 6 weeks long course on dreaming. She's also about stories and music and remembering of friends and warming thoughts of friends, and I experienced so much of this in February from all of you, and here again I want to extend like my warmest thank you, and I hope that will get repaid to you many folds for all the kindness, all the warm thoughts, of the beautiful support that I received from you when I was so stressed out and went through these hard moments in my own life. She also reminds you that trust is a very powerful thing, and that there are long nights, but they will soothe our anguished heart. So that was what I wrote down about snow in 2021. When I look at the February cards, Seven of Torches from the Red Seed Tarot was I am courage. So that's what's in February. And in March, when I was so desperately searching for balance, was I am balance. So I'm going to do just a little ritual for her. As I said, I cleaned everything. I created the new altar. I am going to send her off with the rattle actually, and some chimes. So stick with me if you feel like it. Take a deep breath, sit back and relax.